You ever set a huge goal, feel that incredible rush of motivation, and then poof, nothing? A week later, all that energy is gone, and the goal feels like this distant, kind of embarrassing memory. Look, we've all been there. That gap between what we want and what we do, that's where today's topic lives, self-discipline. But let's get one thing straight. This isn't about being some kind of superhuman or having more willpower or punishing yourself. Nope. It's about having a system, a real practical system that anyone can learn. And today, we're going to build that system together, step by step, so you can finally unlock that potential you know you've got inside you. I just love this quote because you can literally picture it, right? On one side of this massive canyon, you've got your intention. I want to get fit, or I want to write a book. It's this beautiful place full of hope. And way over on the other side of the canyon is the action, the reality of actually doing the work. Those two cliffs can feel miles apart. Self-discipline isn't some crazy leap of faith across that chasm. No, it's the bridge, the one you build plank by plank with every single small good choice you make. It's the only thing that gets you from I want to I am doing. Okay, so let's be crystal clear about what self-discipline really is. It is not about becoming some joyless robot who just says no to everything fun. It's about becoming the architect of your own life. It's learning how to pause, even for a split second, and ask yourself, hey, does this choice get me closer to my long-term goals? Is this what the person I'm trying to become would do? And here's maybe the most freeing part of all. It's about consistency, not perfection. It's not about never messing up. It's about getting right back on track at the next meal or the next day without all the guilt and shame. The goal isn't to be flawless, it's to be relentless.
So, how are we going to build this bridge? Well, we've got a clear 6-part framework. We're going to start at the very beginning with tiny, unbreakable promises to ourselves. Then we'll learn how to focus that new energy on what actually moves the needle. After that, we put it all on autopilot with habits and routines. And finally, we're going to tackle the mental game, mastering temptation, and even learning to love the feeling of growth. You ready to start building? Let's dive into our first technique.
All right, technique number 1, this is the foundation for absolutely everything else, so listen up. So often we try to get disciplined by making some giant heroic leap. We go, okay, starting tomorrow, I'm waking up at 5 a.m., meditating for an hour, and hitting the gym for 2 hours. But that's like trying to bench press 300 pounds when you've never even lifted a weight before. It's just a recipe for failure and burnout, and it reinforces that nasty little voice in your head that says, see, I told you couldn't do it. The real secret? You have to treat discipline like a muscle. You start with the weight you can actually lift consistently, and you build strength over time. The magic of this first step is to make your commitment so small it's almost laughable. I'm serious. Not, I'm going to write a novel, but I'm going to open my laptop and write just one sentence. Not, I'm going to meditate for 30 minutes, but I'm going to sit quietly for 60 seconds. Why on earth does this work so well? Because the goal here isn't the output. The goal is just to get a win. It's all about ending your day having kept the promise you made to yourself that morning. That one tiny victory is the seed from which all discipline grows. It's how you start building trust with yourself again. And this is where it gets really, really powerful, the compounding effect. That 1 page a day feels like nothing, right? It takes what, 2 minutes? But over a year, that's 365 pages. That's a whole book you just read. That 5-minute walk? Over a year, that's more than 30 hours of exercise you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. We always overestimate what we can do in one heroic day, but we dangerously underestimate what we can achieve in a year of just small, consistent daily actions. It's not just math. It's like the fundamental physics of personal growth. So let's just break down the psychology here. Every single action you take is like casting a vote for the type of person you want to be. When you decide to just read that 1 page, you cast a vote for I am a reader. When you go for that 5-minute walk, you cast a vote for I am a healthy person. See, these little votes start to stack up, and eventually the evidence is undeniable. You're not just trying to be disciplined anymore, you simply are the person who shows up. And that self-trust, that's the bedrock for everything else we're about to talk about. Okay, so with these small commitments, we've started building momentum. We've got the engine running, we're proving to ourselves that we can actually do this. But a powerful engine without a steering wheel, that's just chaos. You might be moving fast, but you could be going in completely the wrong direction. And that's why our second technique is all about prioritization. It's about taking that disciplined energy we're building and aiming it right at the targets that will truly change your life. A great way to think about this is the classic big rocks method. So imagine your week is a big empty glass jar.
Your big rocks are your non-negotiable priorities, the 1 to 3 things that really move you forward. Maybe that's working on a key project, or your daily workout, or quality time with family. The sand represents everything else. The endless emails, the social media scrolling, all the little errands. Now, if you fill your jar with sand first, guess what? The big rocks won't fit. But if you put the big rocks in first, the sand just flows in and fills the empty space around them. The lesson is simple but huge. Your priorities have to go into your calendar first.
And this brings us to one of the biggest battles of modern life, the war between the urgent and the important. The urgent is loud, it's aggressive. It's the notifications, the pings, the hey, can you just requests. It screams for your attention now. But the important stuff is quiet. It's the deep work, it's learning a new skill, building a relationship. The important things rarely have an immediate deadline. The key skill of self-discipline is learning to mute the siren call of the urgent so you can protect secret time for the whisper of the important. So we have momentum and we have direction. Now it's time to build a system that basically runs itself. Because let's be real, if you have to use conscious effort and grit for every single choice you make all day, you are going to be mentally exhausted by 10 a.m. It's a real thing called decision fatigue. Our third technique, automating with habits, is the ultimate cure. It's all about making your good choices the easy default path, not some daily internal battle that just drains your energy. This idea is a total game changer. I want you to think of your willpower like a phone battery. You wake up every morning with a full 100% charge. And every single little debate you have with yourself, should I get up now or hit snooze? Should I check my email or work on my big project? It just drains that battery. By lunchtime, you might be running on fumes, which is exactly why it's so hard to resist junk food or go to the gym in the evening. The most disciplined people on the planet are not willpower superheroes. They are just expert energy managers. They use their willpower to build habits that eventually run on zero battery power. And one of the best ways to do this is a simple technique called habit stacking. You just link a new habit you want to start with a habit you already do without even thinking. So, for example, your current habit is making your morning coffee. The stack is, after I pour my coffee, I will plan my top 3 priorities for the day. Or maybe, after I brush my teeth at night, I will lay out my gym clothes for the morning. The old habit becomes the trigger for the new one. You're not relying on motivation anymore. You're basically hijacking an existing pathway in your brain. It's brilliant, and it works. All right, we've talked about actions and systems. Now let's get into the mental game. This is the core engine of discipline, the psychological battleground where it's all won or lost. Mastering delayed gratification. In simple terms, it's the constant battle between what you want now versus what you want most. It's saying no to the immediate pleasure of scrolling on your phone so you can have the long-term fulfillment of finishing your project. Every single big achievement in life is built on winning this internal battle over and over and over again. Okay, here's the mental shift that changes everything. When you choose to work on your goals for an hour instead of watching Netflix, you're not sacrificing your evening, you are investing your evening. You're taking your most valuable resources, your time and your focus, and you're sending them forward to your future self, who's going to reap the rewards. Sacrifice feels painful, like a loss. Investment feels smart, it feels strategic, it feels empowering. This one little shift in perspective makes discipline feel less like a chore and more like a winning strategy for your life. So how do you actually get better at this? Here are 4 practical tools for your toolkit. First, visualize. Make your future goals so real in your mind that it feels more compelling than the donut in front of you. Second, create milestones. Break a huge goal down into smaller weekly wins. This gives your brain a regular hit of that feel-good reward chemical and keeps you in the game. Third, and this is a big one, design your environment. Make temptation harder and good choices easier. Don't rely on willpower to avoid junk food if it's sitting on your counter. And fourth, the 5-minute rule. When an urge hits, just tell yourself you can give in, but you have to wait 5 minutes. That little pause is often all you need to let your rational brain take back control. Now let's zoom out a bit. If individual habits are the bricks, our 5th technique, committing to a routine, is the architectural blueprint for the whole house. Some people hear the word routine and they think, restrictive or boring. But actually, the opposite is true. A well-designed routine creates freedom. It automates all the important stuff so your mind is freed up to be creative, to solve problems, and to just be present for the unexpected moments of life. I mean, just look at the difference here. The person without a routine wakes up and their first thought is, what do I feel like doing today? Their entire day is just a reaction to their moods and distractions. They're basically a passenger. But the person with a routine wakes up and already knows their big rocks are scheduled and their important habits are ready to go. They are the pilot. They don't waste precious mental energy on tiny decisions. They save it for the things that really matter. It's the difference between a reactive life and an intentional one. But let's be really clear here. A routine is a framework, not a cage. Life is always going to throw curveballs. The kids get sick, the car breaks down. A good routine is like the banks of a river. It provides direction and channels your energy, but it's flexible enough to handle a sudden storm. The goal isn't to have a perfect, robotically executed day. The goal is to have a default structure that just naturally guides you back to your priorities when life inevitably gets messy. And that brings us to our final technique. For me, this is the master key that unlocks the highest levels of achievement. You can have the best systems, the best habits, the best routines in the world, but they will only take you so far, because eventually you will hit a wall of discomfort, and everything you want is on the other side of that wall. This final step is about learning how to get over that wall by intentionally, even cheerfully, embracing discomfort. So I want you to just pause and really think about this for a second. What is one thing you know you should do, but you always avoid because it just feels uncomfortable? Making that call, having that tough conversation, pushing for that last rep at the gym. That feeling of resistance you get right before you do it, that's not a stop sign, it's a compass. It is pointing directly at your next level of growth. This quote is so true, it almost hurts. And let's be honest about what stagnation means. It doesn't mean things stay the same. It means they slowly decay. A comfort zone is where our skills get rusty, our ambitions shrink, and our world just gets smaller and smaller. It feels safe, but really, it's a trap. Every single thing you want in life that you don't have right now, it exists just 1 inch outside of that circle of comfort. So here it is, the final, most powerful reframe of all. The next time you feel that resistance, that urge to quit, that feeling of being out of your depth, I want you to train yourself to smile, to literally say to yourself, there it is. That's the feeling I was looking for. Because that feeling is not pain to be avoided. It is a biological signal. It's proof that you are rewiring your brain and becoming a stronger, more capable version of yourself in real time. Discomfort isn't the obstacle to growth. Discomfort is the feeling of growth itself. And so we come full circle. We've seen that self-discipline isn't some magical trait you're born with or not. It's a skill. It's a system. It's a set of choices. It is something that can be learned and built, starting right now. You have the blueprint, you have all the tools, so the only real question left is the one on your screen. Are you willing to take that first, small, almost laughably easy step? The future you're dreaming of is waiting for your answer.